It's a November 3rd, 2021, beautiful city of Villages in Florida. My name is Jong-woo Han. I am the president of Korean War Legacy Foundation. And we are doing this interview to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the breakout of the Korean War in 1950, supported by the MPVA, Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs in Korea. To do this, to preserve your memory. Most of all, we want to preserve your memory because it's been a long time, more than 70 years ago.
Yes.
And we want to honor your service as a Korean War veteran. But at the same time, we want to educate the legacy of the Korean War and the honorable services and sacrifices of Korean War veterans so that teachers can use this interview in the classroom when they talk about the Korean War, right? It's my great honor and pleasure to meet you. Actually, I met you at the restaurant in the morning
Yes.
over the breakfast with your daughter, Jane. I will ask her to join you later. So please, it's my honor and pleasure to meet you, sir, and thank you for coming. Please introduce yourself. What is your name and spell it for the audience?
My name is Charles Joseph Falugo Jr. Falugo, F-A-L-U-G-O.
Falugo. So what is the ethnic origin of this name?
Well, my father came from Lebanon.
Lebanon.
In this country at 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was Italian. She was born here.
Uh-huh.
And had two sisters, one older and one younger.
What is your birthday?
1/10/28.
1/10/28.
Yes, sir.
So you are now...
Sir, 93.
What?
Yes, sir.
Can you believe he's 93? You look like a 63.
Thank you, sir.
Did I make a mistake?
No, sir.
I should have said that as you are 43. Really? You don't have a wrinkle over your face.
My parents did it also.
Maybe that's the DNA
Yes,
of the
yeah.
Lebanese.
Yes, the Lebanese, yes.
I see.
Yes.
So you got Mediterranean food and so on, right?
Absolutely. Well, Lebanese and Koreans, they like their garlic.
Oh,
That keeps you going.
yeah, we love garlic.
Yes.
So, where were you born?
I was born in Bristol, Rhode Island.
Bristol.
Rhode Island.
Uh-huh. And tell me about your family background, even though you mentioned that you are your father from Lebanon. But how many siblings and what did your father do and your mom?
My father,
when you were growing up?
My father came from Lebanon at 15 years old, and he worked in different factories. Then he opened a furniture store in 1919.
What store?
A furniture.
Furniture?
Yes.
Okay.
And my mother worked for them, worked for my father, and they got married. And they continued expanding their business. Then I have a sister, older, and I'm the boy next, and I got a sister younger.
I see. So what school did you graduate? High school? Where?
Cheshire Academy.
Can you spell it slowly?
Cheshire, see?
C-H-E-S-C-H-I-R-E.
Cheshire, Chester
Yeah.
High School. When
Yes.
did you graduate?
44.
1944.
44.
So let me ask this question. When you were in high school in Rhode Island, right?
Oh, yeah, no, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
I didn't behave very well, so they sent me off to school.
You are too honest, Charles.
Please, sir?
You are too honest.
Well, that's the way it is, sir.
Okay. So, in that school, Chester High School in Connecticut,
Yes.
did they teach you anything about Korea?
No.
What? They didn't teach anything
No.
about Korea?
No.
How about Lebanon?
No.
They didn't teach anything
No.
about your mother country?
No.
That's a bad school.
Well, what school in the States teach you about all these countries now? You're lucky they teach you about American history.
See, that's the point.
Right.
Why our school do not teach about Korean War. Why? You are the Korean War veteran, right?
Yes, yes.
And you saw Korea in 1950. How was it when you landed there? What did you see in Korea? Just tell me straightforward.
Well,
Be honest.
let's start off first. I came over, when we left Seattle, Washington, we were on the ship, Marine Phoenix, 22 days.
Yeah,
And when we landed in Busan,
Yes.
everything looked good, even though it wasn't good. But it was very, very bad conditions.
tell me the detail. Give me the detail because children wants to hear from you how bad that was.
Well, you didn't see any houses. They were all clay houses. And if we dropped some cardboard, they would take out the cardboard to insulate their houses. And they really had nothing. They had oxen to go get water in old barrels. They were picking roots up off the ground to eat. And when we got through with our meals, we never threw anything away. What was left over in our food, the children would come with a number 10 can and take our food, and they wouldn't eat it. They'd run home with it.
They're not going to eat, but they brought it to home.
Home.
How did you know that?
I saw it.
You saw it.
I saw it.
No?
Yeah.
Why did they bring it to home?
That's why they were trained. They took care of their family first.
They care about their family first rather than themselves.
Yes, sir.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And
So when you saw those things, there's no house made up of cardboard, and there are nothing to eat.
clay, made out of clay.
What did you think? What did you feel about it?
I felt very badly, and I felt very, very lucky what we have in this country. Even as bad as the conditions were in the service, we were living like kings compared to these poor people.
This is amazing that they didn't eat because they were hungry. They must have been
Absolutely.
very hungry, but they didn't eat. They brought it to home.
Yes.
That's an amazing story.
Well, when we used to get through with our meals, they called me the candy man. I used to write home. I got a package a day from my parents, and I would give everybody a piece of candy. They were all lined up. One night I ran out, so I had those lifesavers. I had to open up each lifesaver and give them one.
One.
And not one of them would put it in their mouth and eat it. If you gave them a Hershey bar, they were home.
Wow.
Yes.
I think that's the spirit of Korean people so that they were able to rehabilitate their economy and now they become the 10th largest economy in the world.
Yes,
Can
yes.
you believe that?
Yes, yes,
What do you think about that? You
not-
saw nothing there, now it's the 10th largest.
yes. I'm very proud. Very, very proud of them. Because it's something we helped out, someone that we helped out turned it into something good.
So this is amazing. You didn't know anything about Korea when you were in high school
Yes,
and
sir.
even after the high school.
Yes, sir.
But now you know everything about Korea.
I enjoy reading the books.
What are you reading about? What do you know?
Well, when we went to visit Korea,
When?
5 years ago,
5 years ago. So it must be in 2016?
16, and they gave us a bunch of books. It's amazing reading the books, what the Korean people invented.
But I don't want to talk about something from the book. What did you see in Korea when you revisited in 2016? What did you see? How different was it? Tell me the details.
It was like getting up in the morning and being in a field of roses. It was impossible to see the buildings, the highways, how fast they improved the government.
When you were in Korea in 1950, were you in Seoul? You saw Seoul, right?
Yes, we moved to Seoul in 51.
So, tell me the details of the Seoul you saw in 1951 and Seoul in 2016.
Well, it was a dream. It was a dream. When you were there, you saw The only thing we remember seeing is the blue building, the railroad station stood out properly, and a few houses. Where we lived, the embassy was all blown up. It was nothing. Then you went there, you saw a jewel, a diamond in the sky. Unbelievable what they did in a short time. Look at this country, what, 20 years old, 200 years old, and look how long it took us to get where we are.
It's much bigger than villages, right?
Yes, yeah, yes.
See, that is your legacy. That is something good came out of Korea from 1950.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to see the poverty these poor people were in, and they still smiled.
Yes. So after you graduate from high school, what did you do? Did you work at your father's?
I worked in my father's furniture business.
Of course.
Yes.
Did he pay you well?
Very well.
Oh.
Yes, he did. No, like I said, I was spoiled.
So, the 28, you were born in 1928, 1 year before the Great Depression.
Good Depression.
But because your father had a company there,
I never felt it.
you never felt it.
I never felt it.
You are lucky,
We
man.
always had a good house. We always had heat in the house, electric in the house, and the best food. And when we went to buy clothes, my parents would take me to Providence to get us clothes instead of going in the little town to buy clothes. I was very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
Very, very fortunate.
You are, and you were, because most of the veterans that I had an interview with, they suffered a lot from the Great Depression.
Oh, yes, yes.
So, were you drafted or enlisted?
I was drafted.
When? Tell me about it.
I got drafted October the 6th. I believe it
Wow.
was. 1950.
You remember that?
Yes.
Drafted, by that time, you already knew that Korean War broke out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you came to know about it?
The news.
News?
Most at the time, most of the news we got was when you went to the theaters. They had the newsreel.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me, what did you see from the theater
Well,
about Korean War?
just how badly they got attacked. And when it was about 3 days, I guess North Korea took over Seoul. I mean, the poor people didn't have a chance, and people just disappeared everywhere. That's why you had so many children living in the mountains by themselves.
You saw that in the
Yes.
newsreel?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so did you see Kilroy there?
Kilroy, yes, sir. Yeah. Who didn't see Kilroy? Kilroy was here.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
you are very...
Yes.
So, tell me about it, because the Kilroy was the image of American citizens
Yes.
who committed for the state, the country. So Kilroy was the American GI in World War II, but also Kilroy was there in Korea. You
yeah.
are one of the Kilroy.
Yes.
Did you
yes.
see the Kilroy in the newsreel?
Yes, yes. And you're usually just looking over a wall or something.
Just do it like that again. Let me take a picture of you.
Just like looking over a wall. Kilroy was here.
It's amazing. I love Charles. See, so the Kilroy in World War II was victorious.
Yes, yes.
Because we defeated Germany, Nazi Germany,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And Mussolini in Italy and Japan, right?
Yes.
But in Korea, what was like a Kilroy?
Well, Korea was completely different. The war was completely different. First thing, nobody was organized. I mean, like I always said, how could the enemy know what we're going to do when we didn't know what we're going to do?
You didn't know what you were going to do?
Yes, at times.
Don't tell me that.
Absolutely. I mean, if we had a meeting, we're going to do, like I said, we're going to pull out 2 o'clock in the morning when they need a truck. And 2 hours later, it's canceled. So we didn't even know what we were doing half of the time.
So can you say just be straight, be honestly, that can you say that Kilroy in Korea was not happy?
Oh,
Can
no,
you-
they were happy.
They were
No,
happy?
Absolutely.
Why?
Oh, yeah. There's one
Because Korean War finished with the ceasefire, not peace treaty,
Well, yeah.
and we didn't win at the time.
Well, at least we settled. We ended the war.
Okay.
I mean, you know, at least we ended the war, and how many lives did we save by ending the war?
So you think that they were happy?
Well, I don't know about them. I think it was the troops there were happy. You know, at least they settled one thing or another.
This is an excellent interview because nobody ever mentioned about Kilroy, and you are making gesture of Kilroy like that. You are one of Kilroy, so this is great. Okay, so drafted, and where did you go to boot camp?
We went to Fort Devens,
Fort Devens.
and that was the experience. We had to break the locks on the barracks, clean them up. Then we had to wait for our bunks to come in, our mattresses, foot lockers, and officers were driving trucks because they were short of everybody. And we were going to the rifle range, and the truck broke down, and I happened to be in the back, and I was mechanically inclined, and I jumped out. I told the lieutenant, "Let me look at it," and we threw the hood open, and was dark, 6 in the morning, and everybody's over there with cigarette lighters, so I could see what I was doing. A coil wire. First I pulled the spark plug wire off, and we had no spark, so I knew it was the coil.
So where is Fort Devens in
In Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay, and then when did you leave for Korea? From where?
From Fort Devens.
Fort Devens.
Yes.
You directly to Korea?
Well, we went by train from Fort Devens to Seattle.
Seattle.
Washington.
Yeah, and Fort Lewis. Did you
Believe
leave
me,
from
yeah,
Fort Lewis?
Fort Lewis, yes.
And
But the interesting thing about this, I was in a 214 Corner America bakery, and we were going to we started to get prepared to go to Germany, and they gave us all brand new equipment, brand new Rios.
and you said, uh-oh.
No, I didn't mind that. We were going to Germany, and we were loading I was loading the trucks on the flatbeds, and we put a washing machine in with the old ringer type. We figured we threw card tables, it was going to be a vacation for us, the way we looked at it.
And turned out to be?
Well, a motor pool sergeant got killed in an accident. I had his MOS.
And?
I did the best in the inspections.
Right.
So they said they didn't need me in Germany. They needed me in Korea. So they pulled me out of the 214 bakery, and I went over to Korea.
So, be honest. When you learned that you're not going to Germany but Korea, what did you say to yourself?
Believe it or not, I didn't think anything. Really. It was just the whole thing.
But you didn't know where Korea was, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And
you knew where Germany is, right?
I knew where Germany was, and at least Germany was peaceful.
Right, and you wanted to go there.
Yeah, I wanted to go there.
But rather you are drafted into Korea.
Korea.
The war.
The war, yes.
So you didn't say anything about it?
Well, I did.
What did you say?
I felt badly that I was going to a country where we're going to be shooting at one another.
Were you afraid that you might be killed?
Well, I would say yes, because when I got drafted, I gave all my tools away, because I had a little garage that I tinkered with, and I said, I'm not coming home. I gave everything away, Nick Yoshua.
So from Fort Lewis, you went to Japan, right?
Yeah, well, we had to stop in Japan because that tugboat we were on needed emergency repairs.
Oh, what happened?
Well, we hit the 22 days at sea.
Yeah.
We hit every storm in the world. We stopped in Sasebo.
Yep.
We stopped in Sasebo for repairs, and then Marine Phoenix got the Busan, and they stayed there.
So when did you land it in Busan? Do you remember? Month? The year?
It was begin 51. I know it was winter, but probably January. Yes.
So from Busan, where did you go?
from Busan, well, we had to get all our equipment together. And when we went to look for the trucks at the dock, I says, I didn't know this was a junkyard. The truck had flat tires. Some batteries were missing. I said, what in the hell is going on? It reminded me of a junkyard at home where I used to go get parts for some of my truck. Well, anyway, we managed. Then we pulled it. Then we went to Daejeon.
Daejeon. And what did you do in Daejeon?
Well,
By the way, what was your unit? What division did you
it
belong?
was 402.
402.
To Battalion Headquarters, Quartermaster.
Quartermaster. And what is the division that belongs to?
I never knew what division we were in.
Okay. And your MOS was?
1014, I believe it was.
Uh-huh. Right. And then, so in Daejeon, what did you do?
I was in charge of the motor pool.
Motor pool.
Sending out trucks for rations, delivering rations, running to Busan, getting supplies. Occasionally, if they needed ammunition in the front lines, we would dispatch trucks to go.
So you were in charge of motor pool, and they transport supplies, right?
Supplies.
From Busan to everywhere.
Yeah, well, we also, like we had food, clothing, and also we were attached to the, now they're with better name than gravediggers.
Sea ration?
Like a mortician, so like, what do you call it?
Anyway, so you've been driving a lot too, right?
Please, sir?
Driving.
Yes.
Yes, so you saw the country.
Well,
Busan to Daejeon and all this part of the Korea. How was it, the situation?
Sir, how would I get along so well with my men? I used to tell them, I'll never tell you to do something that I wouldn't do. And when we got a new job, I'd go with them on the trucks.
Right.
And see what they were doing.
Right.
Then I'd come back and say, good, you can do it. You don't need me.
My question is, what did you see when you were driving the country, whole thing? How was the situation? Because people wants to know what was like 1950.
The roads were so bad, sir, that the Jeeps, the shackle that hold the spring to the chassis, used to break. It was all in the mountains. And if we stopped in the middle of nowhere to have a tinkle, children would come off the mountains with stomachs. They were starving, and we would give them our rations.
See, that's what I want to hear, and that's what the children, the school students wants to hear from
They
you.
suffered. Who suffered the most? It was the children. Because basically, I think what happened, that when they got attacked so quickly, the families just dispersed. Husbands, wives, everybody just ran everywhere. And how could they be living in these mountains with the cold weather? But these poor kids survived.
And that's how Korea now become the 10th largest economy in the world.
They knew the hardships. They didn't forget it. And they should not forget it.
Exactly.
They should not forget it.
Exactly. So from Daejeon, where did you go?
We moved into Seoul.
Seoul. Tell me about Seoul you saw. How was it? As you describe about the children's.
Yes. The only thing that was noticeable was the blue building. Right? I think that's what they call the Capitol, right? The blue building and the railroad station.
Yep.
And outside that, like where we lived near the embassy, all the embassy was blown up except one Shell Oil Company building. And they had security guards in it. Our house was next to it.
Oh my goodness. So you lived like an emperor there.
Oh, hey, you make the best of things. What do you do?
Right? And you were powerful because you were in charge of motor pool. Everybody wants to have a transportation,
Everybody,
right?
yeah. Well, it depends how you treat your men. You're only as good as your men.
Right.
Like when I got in, Fort Devens, my inspections were the best. This is why I went over Korea. But without my men, I could never do it. If you got 50 trucks, I can't take care of 50 trucks. But the men make you. You You have to take care of your men. They make you or break you.
So how long did you stay in Seoul?
Until the end of my term.
Oh, so you were always in Seoul.
Yes,
I see.
yes.
I see. So what was your rank at the time?
Sergeant first class.
Sergeant first class. And how much were you paid at the time? What was your
I
salary?
don't even know. But they send the money home to my wife.
You were married
Yes,
at the
sir.
time?
Yes.
You didn't tell me about that.
Well, you didn't ask me.
What was your wife's name?
Rosemary.
Rosemary. And so it must have been hard for her to leave you in Korea.
If you know my wife, you know, put it this way: why Rome wasn't built in a day? Because my wife wasn't the foreman on the job.
So
No, she was a good woman, a hard-working woman.
So you must have written a lot of letters to her.
Yes, yes.
Do you still keep those letters?
No, no. I only got a few from my friends in Korea that were in this envelope.
Uh-huh. So open it up.
No, open it. You take it. Just take it.
No. You show to the camera.
Well,
I am
okay.
not.
I don't know if you got the maps of the war.
Yep.
Do you have them?
Yeah. But
Okay.
show us.
Because I
Show
got
us-
some.
Show us to the camera up to your chin, okay?
These are the letters.
Letters, show that letter to up to your chin. So who wrote that?
Some Korean people that I sent money to and I took care of.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I sort of adopted them when I was there.
Oh, you did?
I sent them money. I gave them clothes.
How did it happen? Tell me
Well,
about it.
When we were in Daejeon, this little kid was playing with a hand grenade, which was, he dug up in the dirt, and it was frozen. And he was playing with his hand grenade, and I saw it. I took off. Then I came back, and I said, "Presento." And he just tossed it to my feet, and it didn't go off. It was all rusty, and we became friends. Took care of him. Then we used to give his mother. His mother used to wash all our clothes, repair our clothes, and we used to pay them.
What do you mean we?
Well, I did, and all the men I worked with.
How much?
Well, whatever.
So that's very nice, all right? And you adopted, do you know his name?
All I know is Gabadi. I want to find. That's why I want to go back and look him up. Because when we went last time, I didn't have time on the tour.
What is that? Show to the camera, please.
Let's see. What's this one?
What is the map?
Map of Korea. A different.
Looks like a map of world
Oh.
map.
No, this is all the places in Korea.
Really?
Yes.
Who made it?
No idea.
Who gave it to you?
I just found it there.
Uh-huh. Show it to me, the camera, the other way.
Right here it says.
Okay. Yeah, that's a map of Asia. All right. So let's talk about the one that adopted.
Do you have something like this?
No.
I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, thank you. So tell me about the boy that you adopted. Tell me more about it.
Well, when that happened, we just took him. Then, when we moved into a new house, and he was next door, and I had a uniform made for him, like my uniform. He had sergeant stripes, and everybody in the outfit liked him. I got pictures where officers would take him for a walk. Master sergeants would take him
Right. So, do you still you want to find him?
Yes, yes.
How old was he at the time?
I would say 5 years old.
Okay. You don't remember his last name?
All we know is Garbany. And that's
the letter?
The letters
he wrote?
from him and his mother.
Oh. Let me see it. Right. Anything you remember and you want to share while you are there in Seoul? Anything other than adoption? Any other story?
Well, it turned out to be a nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. How was Korean people?
I loved them.
Why? Why?
They were good to us. They really were. Yeah, like I said, when I went in the service, I had 2 jobs when I went to Korea. To take care of Americans and take care of the Koreans. They were so kind-hearted. They did everything for me. And what I liked about them, I told Jane this a few times, I could go out in the nighttime in the towns and not worry about anybody bothering you. Matter of fact, I used to get upset because they used to bow to me. Because I used to give them candy and stuff, and I asked them, "No, you don't bow to me." And they said, "Well, they had to bow to the Japanese soldiers."
Yeah.
And they were very creative. Like I had one guy working for him, he was cutting a bolt 2 days, and I'm saying, "Kim, what are you doing?" And I couldn't understand him. I said, "You're doing a good job." Well, we needed a pin to hold the wheel up on the trailer, and we couldn't get him. And he made it.
Wow.
He made it. And another thing, beer cans. You didn't crush a beer can because they used to take the top off, cut the bottom off, slice the side off, and they would make shingles for their roof. Or make little lanterns. I mean, everything we threw away, they took and used. I mean,
yeah. Isn't it amazing?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Such a big difference.
Oh, and now when you come home, you see how wasteful we are.
Yeah. What was the most difficult thing during your service? If I ask you to pinpoint only one out of many difficult things that you had to experience.
I don't really think I never really had a problem. Because I just let everything go. And when you got good men, you don't have to worry about anything.
Very nice. Were there any dangerous moments that might have killed you?
Yes, yes.
Tell me.
Yes.
When did it happen?
When we first got to Busan, we were moving to Daejeon, and we got fired on. And you go through basic, it's nothing, but when you hear a bullet go by your head and whistling and stuff, then you know they're playing for keeps.
When did you leave Korea?
52.
When?
I think it was around September.
September? So when you left Korea, September of 1952, did you imagine that Korea would change like this?
No.
Why
No.
not? Why not?
They were so bad. I mean, no water, no electric. I mean, they had absolutely nothing. And they recovered so quickly.
How many grandchildren do you have?
4, 5. Eight.
How many children do you have, including Jane?
Well, I had 5 children.
5 children?
Yes, right.
Wow.
One passed away at 50 years old with cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So did you tell anything about your service in Korea to your grandchildren?
No.
Why not?
Well, there's a different thing. What are they doing today? Yeah.
So that's why
A lack of communication. Nobody talks.
that's why we made that curriculum book, so that teachers can use that. But that curriculum book is based on the interview analysis. So many of social studies teachers working for my foundation, and they listen this interview and they analyze this interview and then give us good material so that other teachers can write that book, you know?
Yes.
So your interview is very interesting. You talk about Kilroy, you're talking about adopting a Korean boy, 5 years old at the time.
Yes.
And this will be very interesting interview that my teachers will love it.
But you know, sir, another thing you got to give credit to, a lot of the different units will find a bombed out school and they would remodel it and put orphanages in them.
Orphanage. So tell me about those things.
And it got to the point, like one company, said the artillery, they would get a school, fix it up, because like we were in supply and they're always calling us, can you steal this for us? We need glass for the window. So we went to Busan.
Yeah.
See, I always, when I used to go get my supplies, I always took an officer with me, my motor pool officer. And I was telling him, you got to learn what we're doing. With his rank, I could go over and scrounge stuff. But they would respect him, they wouldn't question him.
So you were kind of procuring the materials for the people.
Well,
sometimes it's a steal, but
yeah. Sir, it wasn't stealing because my father was paying for a lot of this stuff.
yeah,
In taxes, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I praise you.
no,
It was good.
if you're stealing if somebody stole something and give it to the enemy, then he should crucify him.
Exactly.
You know.
But you did good.
When you're helping one another, you know, like they used to call up and say, "Well, we need some glass," and it was a pleasure for me to go down and wheel and deal. Like say
Charles?
if you order the docks and I want to say, Mr. Hahn, I need this, and you say, well, Sergeant, I need some combat boots, I need a field jacket, I write it down, go see my colonel, say, we need this, but they want this. And he calls supply, give Sergeant Falugo what he wants.
Do you read Bible?
No.
No. But in the Bible, in Matthew, the king went journey and came back, and he divided his whole people into right and left. Right? And then the king said to the people in his right, saying that you gave me water when I was thirsty, you gave me food when I was hungry, and you came to see me when I was in prison.
Yes.
And they say, when did I do that to you?
Yeah.
When did I did to you? And King replied to them that whatever you did for the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. So you did for the Korean people, providing this material so that they can build the orphanage and the schools, and you adopted and you gave the money to those people.
Well, when we moved to Seoul, we moved into, I think it was Underwood.
Yeah?
The missionaries.
Yeah.
We moved in his house. I got a picture of his house.
He established the Yonsei University, and I'm the graduate of Yonsei University. Underwood is the founder of my university.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Show me the picture.
I'll show you the picture of his house. Yeah. That's where we lived.
Huh.
That's one part of it.
He lived like a king there, huh?
So you got pictures of the poor children with an oxen plowing the fields.
Show to the camera.
Well, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can zoom in. They're working on the rice paddy.
Yes.
Yeah, and
they got, Oh, there's another thing. Jane, could you show them that, what we did to get,
So let's look at later, okay?
okay.
Yeah. But let's talk. I want to learn from you about your experience. So when you were not in duty, what did you do?
When I was where?
You were not in duty, what did you do?
Hung around with the Korean people.
What did you do most?
We just talked and help them out with supplies. Well, like sometimes we would have some extra cloth. we'd get the indigenous personnel that worked for it, and we'd divide everything up with them.
Very nice.
Anything we had left over, anybody who worked for us, we took care of them.
You really enjoyed it.
I did. I would.
So you were able to travel all around the country?
Well, because I was more or less like instructor, so I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Excellent. Any other story you want to share about your service in Korea?
Well, now, like I said, I didn't suffer. I didn't suffer.
So you were living in the house
Yes,
built by, that used to be occupied by the Underwood.
Underwood family.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. So it must have been in my campus area.
Well, it was where all the embassies were.
Okay, got it, in Seoul. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we're all high-class area.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and it was a good-sized house. And we lived by ourselves. We didn't have any officers with us.
I see.
So we had Korean cooks, Korean dishwashers. We didn't do anything. We paid them to do everything.
What kind of Korean food did you like?
Well, at that time, there we didn't have much, anything real good. Like the eggs, they tasted what they fed them. We had a lot of fish heads cooked.
Fish eggs.
Yeah.
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 Did you like the kimchi?
I liked everything.
Everything.
That's one thing I'd be taking a ride somewhere up in the mountains. There was a temple with I think 1,000 steps to go up this temple, and I used to ride up there with my Jeep on the steps, and the people would have the picnic. The woman would be on one side, and the men would be on one side, and the woman would come over way down the men, and I would put my rifle down, cross my legs, sit down, have sake with them, or whatever they were having.
All right. Jane, do you want to sit there? No? It's up to you.
I don't know if I'd have
Okay.
any insightful.
All right. So you have lots of picture.
Yes.
Can any of your children who knows good at digital, can they scan it and send it to me?
See how my children think? It can be done.
All right. So I want your grandchildren or Jane can scan this and send it to me, okay? I'll give my business card because if you send the picture, I'll put that in the website with your interview. So anybody who see those, maybe the guy you adopted, 5-year-old boy, may be able to see
See,
it.
I'm sorry, but that I didn't answer his letters right away. Because they wanted a photo of me.
Yep.
I'll leave you them letters because I can get it if you want them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So scan this letter too. You promise?
I promise.
You promise.
No, she's
Okay.
she's straight. No.
Okay.
She won't tell you she's going to do something and not do it.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other story you want to tell me?
No.
So let me ask you this. If you have a message to the Korean people in the 70th anniversary of the breakout of Korean War, what would you say? Talk to the camera lens and say to them.
First, they should be very, very proud of their country. All they have to, what they should do is go back, if they can see some pictures of what happened during the war, and see how bad things were, and what they got today. And now they got to appreciate what they got today, and hold on to what they got today.
Are you proud to be a Korean War veteran?
I am. I really am. The people were so good, kind, helpful. And the main part about, you didn't have to be afraid of them. You know, so many places you go, you say, well, you're going to cover your back. But I used to go downtown after hours at the little cafes, and I never once felt, I used to bring my own beer, my own whiskey, and enjoy the people.
You are a wonderful man, and Jane's here of everything that we talk. So this interview will be analyzed by the teachers and will be used in the classroom. And we'll try to find the person that you adopted.
I'm signing up to go, if I can go back.
Sure.
But if I go back, I want to spend time. I want to spend time there.
So you want to go back?
Yes, I do. Yes.
So I'll put your name in the list so that they can extend the invitation.
Good.
But you have to give me the scan of your whole picture because people want to see those, okay?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Okay,
Charles.
this map here, I'm going to leave you.
Yes.
Of the Korean War.
Thank you, sir.
The different things that happened.
Yes. Thank you so much again for your service.
I'm glad I came.
Yes.
I thought it was a dead-end street at first.
Did you like this interview?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me
Yes.
too, because I learned.
Great, Jane. Thank you.